Parasha Meditation, Parashat Emor. So Emor is usually we read it in Iyar, and now we are in Rosh Chodesh Iyar. Such a beautiful time, my favorite time. This is the time of healing. Ani Hashem Rofecha, the acronym of Iyar. Hashem healed all the people that came out of Egypt, all the Jews that came out of Egypt, to be ready to receive a complete Torah at Sinai. They had to be healed. They could not have any defects. And how we know? Because all the blind could see, because it says they saw the voices. All the deaf could hear, because it says they said, we will do and we will hear. All those who were limping could walk and stand firmly, as it says. They stood firmly at the bottom of the mountain. So this week's parasha is called Emor, which means say. And actually, one of my students many years ago asked me a question on something that we had discussed in my Emunah healing class. And she asked me a question of, can you please explain what does it mean to have Emunah as you speak? So we will touch upon that. But first of all, speech, it is the main thing of a human being. The translation of, and man became a ruach chaya, a living spirit. The Aramaic translation is ruach mamlela, a speaking spirit. That's what defines us, our ability of speech. And so we have such a responsibility to use that power in a way that we elevate it rather than let it drag us down. So speech is also connected to ultimate life. And we see this the way the beginning of Parashat Emor, it starts with say to the Kohanim to be extra careful, not to be impure through contact with the dead. And the end of Parashat Emor describes the extreme misuse of speech, which results in death from the son of Shlomit, Bat Dibre, because Dibri, that means she was speaking, she was babbling, she was all the time saying, hello, hello, Shlomit, from the language Shalom, 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 Shalom to every man. And that's how it happened, that she got in trouble with a man, and she had this son who later fell not far from the tree of his mother and blasphemed and cursed God and misused speech to the highest degree, and he had to publicly be put to death. So we see elevated speech brings life, and speech that are misused speech causes death. So there's a great healing power of words. So the wisest of all men, Shlomo HaMelech, he wrote in Mishlei, Da'aga belev ish yisachena. When a person's heart has worry in it, he should speak it. He should speak it with a good friend. V'davar tov yismechena. A good word will make him happy. In Mishlei 12:25. So I noticed as a client, when I do Emunah healing, as a therapist, I said, do Emunah healing, I give space to my clients to speak about their distress. And I see the healing that just being able to speak with someone that are there, give them the space, speak the space, and are there for them, and that they trust. It is a great healing for them. So how can we heal emotions through speech? That was the question of my Emunah healing student. And so we have three parts of our neshama, our main neshama. We have five, but the main parts are three: nefesh, ruach, neshama. So nefesh is action, ruach is speech, and neshama is thought. The ruach corresponds to speech because we express our emotions through speech. We radiate life to the extent that we're able to express the emotion of love. But on the other hand, anger, jealousy, depressions, they're examples of emotional blockages that block the divine life force from manifesting within us. Through speech, we have the ability to rectify our emotions and thus learn to become more and more truly alive. Ramban has a famous letter called Igeret Ramban. And one of the main things he says in this letter, and it's like a custom to recite this letter once a week. And then after you recite it, the Ramban says you can ask from Hashem anything, and it's very likely that you will get it if you read this letter once a week and then ask Hashem for the same thing until you get it. B'ezrat Hashem. I'm thinking to start doing it because we just got a magnet with for the refrigerator with the words of the letter. So what does he say in his famous Igeret Ramban, the letter of the Ramban? Ramban, Nachmanides, not Rambam. Speak gently at all times. We should always speak quietly and gently. And through that, you will be able to overcome negative emotions such as pride and anger. And so that's something to get used to, never to raise our voice. And then you can't really, then it becomes virtually impossible to become angry if you never raise your voice. But in addition to the intonation of our speech, which keeps us from becoming angry, our choices of whom we speak with and what to speak about, in addition to the words that we choose, also have the ability to elevate our emotions. When we constantly express emunah through the words through our words of praising Hashem, appreciating what other people do for us, that ingrains the emotion of gratitude. And gratitude engenders happiness and acceptance, which again raise our spirits, emotions, and vitality. As King David proclaims, He'emanti ki etaber. I have faith because I speak. Through speaking words of emunah, we have the ability to strengthen the emunah in our hearts. We can bring the words of emunah into the hearts. And so there's a famous rabbi from the Gemara, Nachum Ish Gamzu, who always used to say, no matter how many difficulties he faced, Gam zu letova. Also, this is for the good. By accustoming ourselves to face difficulties with words of faith and acceptance, we gradually build our emunah, happiness, and vitality. So it's really interesting. Emor, Aleph Mem Resh, is an acronym for Aleph, Esh, Mem, Maim, Resh, Ruach, which means Esh, fire, Maim, water, Ruach, spirit. So it says so many times you have in the Torah the root Aleph, Mem, Resh, Amar, Emor, it's the same letters. And this is because Hashem is vitalizing us through fire, water, and spirit. These elements are the expressions of our emotions. Through fire, we can either express the negative emotion of anger or elevate it into the passion for Torah and mitzvot as well. And through water, we can either be filled with pleasure seeking or we can become calm, like the soft, cool waves of a lake on a sunny day. The element of air can make us nervous, or help us to rise upwards in our yearning for increased spirituality and holiness in our life. So just to summarize before we begin the meditation, 1, overcome pride and anger by speaking gently without raising your voice. 2, develop gratitude by expressing words of praise to Hashem and appreciation for people. 3, whenever you face difficulties, accustom yourself to saying, Gam zu letova. This too is for the good. 4, work on making yourself happy by choosing to speak about positive, uplifting matters. And now to the meditation. Make yourself comfortable on your chair or cushion. Close your eyes and become aware of your breath, which is the expression of your ruach, your spirit and element of air. Place your hands on your stomach and note how your belly rises as you inhale and empties as you exhale. Repeat this calming breath several times before moving your hands to your chest. Now get in touch with how your chest rises and falls with the rhythm of your breath as you keep breathing softly with your hands on your chest. Move your hands to your throat and feel how the air passes through as you slowly breathe in and out. Repeat the entire sequence of 3 breaths, each of belly, chest, and throat, as you imagine the Hebrew letters that spell the word ruach, air. Resh, Vav, and Chet. Visualize the Resh as you breathe through your belly. Visualize the Vav as you breathe through your heart. And visualize the Chet as you breathe through your throat. Feel how the entire cavity within you aspires towards spirituality and holiness as you take in Hashem's life-giving air. Continue to breathe calmly as you envision yourself dipping your feet in a tranquil sea on a hot summer day. Feel how the soothing, cooling water softens your skin. Allow yourself to relax and become enveloped by the calming softness of the gentle waves. You may visualize yourself deliciously floating as all worries and fears melt away. Allow the waters to penetrate any tension you may carry in your body until each tension dissolves in the vast sea. Continue imagining yourself calming down in the water, letting go of all your worries as you visualize the Hebrew letters that spell the word Mayim, Mem, Yud, Mem. Keep breathing calmly and ease yourself of any fears or tension through the tranquil water as you imagine the flames of the Shabbat candles. Try to visualize its blue core turning into a yellow, orange, and red glow. Allow the radiating flame to etch itself into your heart. Notice how it burns away any barriers surrounding your vibrant beating heart. These barriers could include indifference, complacency, or laziness. Take your time to very slowly burn away each part of the blockage as your imaginary flame touches the circumference of your heart. While you unearth and get in touch with your inner flame, visualize the Hebrew letters Aleph, Shin that spell out the word Esh, fire. Allow this flame to fill your entire being with bright, exhilarating, and warming light. As the flame dances within you, imagine yourself dancing with delight while your entire being is engaged in a particular mitzvah of your choice. Take several deep breaths and notice if you feel more in tune with the elements of your emotions. The root Emor, Aleph Mem Resh, appears 3 times in the opening verse of Parashat Emor. Hashem said, Vayomer to Moshe, Emor, say to the Kohanim, the sons of Aaron, and Va'amarta, and say to them. This verse is written in a different style of language than the rest of the Torah. Throughout the Torah, and even in the continuation of Parashat Emor, the beginning of every command is written in the following style. Hashem spoke, V'daber, to Moshe, saying, Le'emor, speak, or daber, to. Here, the root in the beginning of our Parsha, Dalet Beit Resh, is mentioned twice with the root Emor, while the root Emor is mentioned only once. The triple repetition of the word Emor in the opening verse of Parashat Emor may possibly allude to the 3 elements, fire, water, and air, that we need to elevate through sanctification of life and speech. Both life and speech characterizes this week's Parsha, beginning by prohibiting the Kohanim from contact with the dead and concluding in the defilement of speech by the son of Shlomit bat Dibri. It is also interesting to note that specifically the root Emor is used in the 10 utterances, in the 10 with which Hashem the 10 speeches with which Hashem created the world. Originally, light and life came into being by Hashem's word Emor. Yet any kind of speech has power, as the magician exclaims, Avra ke'adabra. I will speak, I will create as I speak. So we have the ability to emulate Hashem and create life with our words.